54th week. Yes.
Mm.
54th week. Yeah. I guess. Amy and Samir here. Happy Monday. Samir, how's your Monday going?
Oh, just lovely. It's been a lovely Monday. I can hear birds twittering outside the windows. It's beautiful, sunny and breezy California day.
Little twittering
and
birds.
Crystal's here. Hi.
Hello, Crystal. Ooh, first day of spring break for you. Awesome.
Ooh, sweet.
Congratulations. Samir, did you watch any fun movies this weekend besides our Friday pick?
The obvious fun movie that was assigned. I did actually. I watched another movie with the number 2 in the title. I watched Paddington 2.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's okay.
Because remember, we talked about it, I think, not on the show, but we talked about it independently. I'm like, for some reason, that movie took hold of a lot of critics and audiences. Like, they've loved that movie, like, a lot. Like, they thought it should be a Best Picture nominee. Like, loved it. And I had sort of, like, the same reaction going into it. I was like, okay, like, that we had with Babe, where Babe was nominated for Best Picture. And everyone's like, what? Are you insane? This movie about a pig is nominated for Best Picture. And so that's how, like, a lot of people felt because they hadn't seen it. And then I went and saw it. And then the act of, like, going through the story mirrors exactly how you feel about the movie being nominated for Best Picture, where you go in thinking, like, oh, this is ridiculous. How did this movie get nominated? It doesn't have a chance. It doesn't belong in this group. And the whole movie is about, you know, the pig who's got a talent for something, doesn't belong in that group. I mean, it's like you suddenly start rooting for the pig, you know, and I was like, oh, okay, this movie Paddington 2, like, I don't understand why people, like, were that in love with it. Well, I can see why now that I've watched it, because it is probably one of the, like, top 10 most enjoyable films that came out, probably top 5 most enjoyable films that came out that year. So I can see why people, like, you know, a movie that gives you this much pleasure and joy and makes you feel so much stuff in such a fantasy kind of story format, like, you don't expect to be moved that much. And it was so, so good. It also squeezes in a musical number from Sondheim's Follies with with what's his name? Hugh, 4 Weddings and a Funeral. The name is escaping me because my mind's on another man today.
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant, yes. I kept wanting to say Hugh Jackman. I'm like, that's not right. But Hugh Grant is in it, and, like, I can't even tell you, like, the scenario. I just want you to watch it because it is truly delightful. So I was like, okay, I see what people were going on about, because not a single moment in that movie felt insincere or slow. It was just a perfectly made, like, charming movie with its heart in the right place that does everything really, really well. With a lot of amazing actors in the movie. And I forgot that Paddington, until I watched the movie, I forgot that Paddington's the one who loved marmalade. He's the little bear who loves marmalade, and that always, like, made me endeared to him, because my dad also loved marmalade a lot. It was the only jam he would eat with anything. He would never eat any other flavor. It was just marmalade. So that made him, like, he kind of liked this character. I don't know. I was thoroughly charmed by it. So it's like, oh, another movie with the 2 in the title that just gave me so much happiness this weekend.
Well, on Saturday night, I watched Shrek. I mentioned on Friday, I was like, oh, I've been really just feeling like watching Shrek. I haven't seen it for so long. And then last night I watched Shrek 2, which I think is a rare case, maybe with Paddington 2 as well, of a sequel being more enjoyable than the first film. I think Shrek 2 is much better. And they were fun. It was really, really fun to go back.
It's a fun movie, but yeah, it was interesting that we sort of fell into this sequel world over the weekend. And for anybody who may be joining, who is looking forward to our talk about
I didn't know about
our Man Crush Monday, Louis Garrel, we will get to him, but we are going to first revisit the movie that we assigned for Friday, for Cult Classic Friday, which how was Grease 2 for you the second time around?
Okay, so I'm already seeing comments where Luke was just saying it was okay. Crystal just says, well. I am so happy that we picked this movie. I was absolutely delighted watching this. It had been so many years since I'd seen it, and I was just like the whole time. It was like, I mean, again, I used to watch it so often when I was like 13, and all I could almost quote the lines, even though it had been, like probably at least 15 years since I'd seen it. And oh,
Well, it is
Crystal,
not
man.
sung well. I will say, Amy, I think we both agreed that the singing was not on par with the singing in the
No,
first film.
that's something. So, this main dude here, my God. Okay, so cute, decent
Oh,
actor for the part. I don't think this role necessarily called for any great skills, but my God, couldn't they have dubbed him?
well, there was a lot. Like you said that there's even another character who is dubbed, who
Yeah,
is like,
out of like necessity because she like couldn't make it to the recording session. It's like, okay, so dubbing was an option for people. Why didn't you dub him? And again, his career, he said it took him like a good decade for his career to kind of recover. And it was really like this was probably the height of his popularity, even though he still is a working actor today. But I mean, he was he was a teen heartthrob here. And
well,
then
understandably, he's
oh
just so dreamy in this
yes.
movie. Loved him. But yeah, there was the person who was the one character who was originally the like partnered with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Johnny.
That actor he's legitimate. You can tell he's musical theater trained. His
Mhm.
voice is on par. He hits like amazing high notes. His dancing is superb. He's wearing all his costumes, like his pants are clearly dancer pants, as opposed to like greaser jeans. You could kind of tell. I absolutely loved the movie. I still love it. I still enjoy this more than the first one. I think the
Same.
first one is trying so hard to be a '50s parody that it kind of like the songs are like songs you can't knock the songs in Grease one versus the song. Those
Yeah.
songs are iconic. They're super enjoyable, but there's something about the first movie that the artificiality is emphasized in a way that it doesn't feel like they're even doing the mockery as well as this movie does. Like I said, this movie kind of reminded me a little bit of John Waters' Hairspray,
Mhm.
which I think is a better movie than the first Grease. So that I think that I do. Just bar none, I feel like that movie captures the era much better.
Mm.
Um,
Good point. Good point here.
the singing is a problem in this movie, mostly because there's a lot of people who just can't sing. Like Tab Hunter is in this movie. Right after he was in Polyester with John Waters, which is so funny because I swear that there are moments in this movie that were inspirations for Hairspray. It's just ironic degrees of separation. But yeah, Tab Hunter can't sing. That's why some people are doing this think or speak singing version of singing. But also like Eve Arden is in this film. Like an icon of 40s and 50s cinema. Like there's certain things that this movie does that I think show that they actually knew the period and they understood it a little more than the people who made the first one. Where there's not a lot of depth to those characterizations. But it makes it a fun, easy musical to like.
I think some of the people who are commenting, if you were watching this movie expecting depth, we told you on Friday that you're not going to get that. This movie has like a 4.4 rating or something on IMDb out of 10. This movie is just for pure enjoyment, entertainment value, and I was just like I almost wanted to just start it all over again as soon as I was done. I'm glad I upgraded my VHS copy, so this movie is part of my permanent collection. Point taken there, Crystal. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, you did. I do. I think there's actually a lot more of this movie to appreciate than people give it credit for. I do think it's actually a better written movie. Like it seems made for the movie screen, where Grease was based on. I think it was a film adaptation of the stage musical. It wasn't like they made the film and then a musical came out on stage. It was made from a musical, so you kind of tell the other one was a little more based on a theater work than this one, and this one was made for the screen initially. Hello, Andres.
Yeah.
So there's I think people should give it a chance, but I'm also famously a supporter of unloved sequels. Like almost everybody except like pretty much like the my favorite film critics that write today think that The Exorcist Part 2 is like way more enjoyable and way better film despite its failures than Exorcist 1. And I am in that camp and people hate me for it. But I think it's artistically a more interesting film. Sometimes you just get a little bit of freedom when you're doing a movie like this.
I like that. I mean, it started out almost the same as the first Grease of just like, okay, it's the first day of school and there's like a musical number and but this movie did its own thing too, where it's like there wasn't a prom scene. Instead, it's like we're gonna have this luau and like give me a luau over a prom any day. I think.
And that also put it more in the period for me too. Things like that. Because this is also taking place shortly after Hawaii actually became a state. So there's like there's like things like that where it knows where it's coming from and it knows the period better. So I like to listen to the soundtrack of the first Grease film. I watch this film.
I have both soundtracks and love both of them equally, but I will continue to watch this movie. It was and I like the what's his name? The bad biker guy. I like that he was in the first Grease. I like that he's like years later still with his gang and they're like that's all they could do is like mess with high school kids. It's like
they've got nothing better to do.
Also, it's like you're still here in the next one, like
it's kind of sad.
Graduated.
Wasn't exactly a promising picture of the future for the T-Birds, but this actor in his leathers.
Oh, when he was wearing like the cutoff thing, he had some
the tight leather pants. Like
I was obsessed with his hair. He would take off his helmet and the hair would just fall. It's like God, yes.
Oh. Yes. No. So I was also like very invested in like him and Michelle Pfeiffer getting together. I'm like, you're gonna make the most beautiful babies the world has ever seen. It needs to happen. I do agree. Like Crystal mentioned that last number. I was kind of like, whoa. So there's moments of this film where I'm like, okay, they know exactly what they're doing, and I actually like the style they're making it in. I think they're succeeding in terms of how the musical numbers are filmed. I think to me they were like maybe less complex in terms of cinematography than the first movie, but I think more enjoyable as numbers visually for me. I'm trying to think.
Musical numbers actually brought me back to more like old MGM musicals, as far as it's like everyone's dancing and singing. It's this big musical number that would like, of course, never happen in real life, let alone on like that large of a scale.
But then we get to that last number, and I'm just like, okay, this is just veered off straight into camp at this moment. That very last number. So I mean, enjoyable. I'm not saying it was bad.
Wait, the luau song, or when they're like
at the very end? The very end. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, see, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't think that was that bad. Anywho, if you didn't see Grease 2, it's just so enjoyable and fun. And if you are ever looking for a film to watch attractive people sing, some of them singing well, some of them not singing well, and just forget about life, watch Grease 2. It's on Prime right now. Before we move on to our next subject, let's do our little name that movie. All right, we have two very different films today. I don't know if people are going to get this. People should get the first one, but not I don't know about the second one. That's going to be a little tougher. All right, here we go. So you have to guess the film based on these pictures. Go ahead and write it in the comments. Starting off strong here. Most people should get this on the first two images. Do you know it, Samir?
I believe I do, but I'm not saying anything.
Andres already got it. I knew Andres would get this. The Hangover! I didn't even finish that because we've got that, and the last one here is that photo right there. Yeah, I've got the Hangover. We've got Alan and his little jock strap, the classic Mercedes. This is still one of my all-time favorite comedies. I don't care what anyone says.
Look, everyone knew it
one
today.
Yeah. Well, good luck
Both
with this
Luke's
one, though.
knew, Andres and Crystal and Walter, everybody got it.
All right. I'm guessing Walter and Andres might get this one. I didn't get this the first time, but it's been forever since I've seen this movie. No, it's not Guys and Dolls. Not Godfather Part 2. I knew Walter was going to get it. The Sting! Best Picture winner. Yes. Walter knows his Paul Newman films.
Oh. Walter, congratulations.
Yeah, I didn't get that the first time. But
that one's a tougher one because it's like not one that everybody watches.
Yeah, not necessarily known for its iconic imagery. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, right. Crystal. Yes, Amy brought this back.
We'll do 2 more tomorrow. All right, let's move on to Luis Garrel. Okay.
Louis
Garrel. Okay, here's the deal with this dude. Okay, so we've had some fun things happen on our Instagram. So on our Instagram account at Book Club for Movies, previously we have 445 followers. Not a ton, but decent considering we're not actively trying to get followers. Previously, our most liked photo on Instagram was when we talked about Cicely Tyson back in February, and that has 75 likes, which I believe were mostly people who were our followers. And, Cicely Tyson, she had died recently. She's awesome. It was a great photo of her. Understandable. Most of the time, our photos get anywhere from average 10 likes, if we're lucky, maybe closer to 20. A few weeks ago, Jim Sheridan, our director Tuesday, got 2 likes. So, not super popular with that. Mr. Louis Garrel, currently, as of 3:52 p.m., has 278 likes. And they're not from our followers, but we were just like, why is he blowing up on Instagram?
Like for us, that's a lot. I remember just checking. I was like, oh, let me just see how many likes it has. I just randomly checked it, and it was at 156. I was like, wait a minute, what?
And he texted me. He's like, how do we get those? And I wasn't paying attention. I was like, oh my god! And yeah, so he is our most popular thing on our Instagram account.
He's gotten the most response of any of the people we've chosen for any day, for any film. It was and I mean, I said it when I reposted. I have an unquenchable thirst for scruffy French dudes with big noses, and there's something he is just. To me, just smoldering. Like there's something about him that is instantly captivating. Just in a picture, even
of the dark hair, dark eyes. I mean, it's also I love Colin Farrell, so I tend to like those darker features. Not always.
His hair is magnificent.
Yeah, he's someone I think. Damn him. I think he just gets better looking the older he gets. Because I saw some photos of him in his early 20s. I was like, I mean, he's cute. And then now he's 37. And I was like, oh my god.
Yes. I first saw him in The Dreamers. That was the first movie of his that I saw, and I was instantly smitten right away. And every film choice he's done, he's always taking on interesting, challenging roles. He's not afraid to just show his whole body if the role asks for it. He just like doesn't have any self-consciousness about himself. And he's
when
always trying
like
to push himself to do something that asks more of him as an actor and wants him to go off in different creative areas. And now he started making films himself. Like there's just nothing to dislike about him as an actor in film for me. Like I love actors like this who don't take themselves so seriously that they can't put themselves in a bunch of different roles, but take their craft and the art of it really seriously at the same time. And he's definitely one of those people, very French in like his attitudes about art and philosophy. But I just can't get enough of this guy. I just like Eva Green from The Dreamers. Somehow Bernardo Bertolucci picked two French actors that, after seeing them in that movie, I will follow them to the ends of the earth and watch every movie they are in for the rest of their careers. It's amazing because that movie came out like 17, 18 years ago. And to this day, I have never forgotten this man's face. I have made sure to catch up with all of his movies until this last year when everything kind of went haywire and we discovered like, whoa, he made movies with two controversial directors.
Yeah, some of his more recent films. A couple years ago, he came out in a Roman Polanski film, and upcoming projects include a Woody Allen film. There were just two.
But you know, Timothy Chalamet was also in the most recent Woody Allen film. Like people are still, I think
people are still working with Woody Allen. Yeah,
they're still. I mean, people are now coming around. I don't know. Obviously, a bunch of major actors continue to work with them. Maybe I think now it's going to be different going forward.
They work with him, and then they're like a few months later, they're like, "No, I regret that decision." It's like, okay, but you like. We're still in this movie.
You also did like, but a lot of people that we love were in those movies, and a lot of them, almost everybody in Hollywood has been. So we're all going to be getting a lot of. He'll probably be on the Apology tour next year, but the movies are not even going to come out. Those movies aren't going to come out in the U.S. All the other films he's done, however, he got his American debut in Little Women, as people already noted.
Yeah, so if you were watching us back in December, we watched that movie, and that's probably the most recent thing that I've seen him in. I can't think of what else I have seen him in between The Dreamers and Little Women, but he has had quite the career. As Samir said, he has also moved on to directing some of his own short films and feature films that he also has written. He comes from an acting family in France. I think like his father was a director, mother is an actress, lots of actors.
His mother's an actress and director.
Yeah. Oh, well, heck, two directors.
He's been in movies directed by both of them.
Yeah, very artsy family. His sister is also an actress. His grandfather and his godfather are also French actors.
Oh yeah, his godfather, Jean-Pierre Léaud, who was in the 400 Blows and was like, the male muse of Jean-Luc Godard. And Louis Garrel even plays Jean-Luc Godard in a film that his godfather was in. So it was like his godfather was in a film by Jean-Luc Godard, and then they made a movie about the making of that movie where Louis Garrel plays Jean-Luc Godard, working with somebody playing his real godfather who was in that movie. It's like insane, all his family. And also I think at one point he was married to a woman who was like a sister or was the cousin of like the French president, Nicolas Sarkozy. Like this man is connected.
Yeah, he was in a relationship with that woman for a long time. He's now married to another very attractive French woman. He started acting as early as age 6. I was in a few projects, but it wasn't until The Dreamers. Oh, we did. We could dive full on into that, but let's focus on Louis Garrel. Yeah, but it wasn't until The Dreamers where his career, similar to Evergreen, really got noticed internationally. I mean, that movie was just like such a hit. And then there was Michael Pitt in that movie, who I think Samir and I both have mixed feelings about. Yeah, he's someone when I see that he's in a movie, I'm like, oh, Michael Pitt's in this.
So who is he murdering in this movie? That's what It's almost how I think about Michael Pitt, or who is he going to take advantage of in this movie? Like, he never seems to play like just
Yeah.
purely like nice people. He always plays opportunistic or devious people in some way. He's got that look. Louis Garrel can do any of it though.
Yeah, if people are interested in that Roman Polanski film, it's called An Officer and a Spy, and it also stars Jean Dujardin, and it looks good. I mean, there's no debate over whether Roman Polanski is a good filmmaker or not, but
No, that's not the debate. It's whether like, can you go to support his career while he's still alive and making money? It's like, after it's my sort of like, for everyone with the artist or the work thing, it's always an after they die, then we can talk about it kind of thing. But most actors are just like, I do the work and then I move on. Like, he's not, as far as I don't know of any press tours he's done in the US, because he's just kind of a new face to a lot of US audiences because of Little Women. So I think a lot of people are in this country are like not really, they don't really know him, but overseas he's known very, very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and actually
Very popular
on his Wikipedia page there was an error, shocking, where it mentioned that Little Women was his first English speaking role, and I was like, I don't think that's right. I think that was technically his first maybe American film, but he definitely speaks English in The Dreamers. And obviously he speaks fluent French, English, and I think he speaks German as well.
I thought it was Italian, but
maybe it's Italian.
But I absolutely adore him. And this movie, I think, catapulted him even further into superstardom. It was the kind, this is how much I love this movie that we've chosen for today. When it came out when I first saw it, I forgot how I saw it. I think I rented it from Kensington Video back in the day or something. However I came upon it, I had to buy it. So I bought the DVD. This was the American release DVD. Then I found out that there is no CD soundtrack of this film released, that you can't buy the CD of it anyway. I couldn't find it. But it was included as an extra in the French special edition of the film, which I also bought just so I could have the CD. Wow. And I have this beautiful special edition.
Oh, cool.
And the CD is somewhere, because I think I left it in a CD player somewhere. So now all I have is the case. I'm gonna have to look through. But like literally, this is how much I love this movie. When it came out, because I was so in love with him that I just want. And I'm like, he can do a musical, he can sing, but it's like not a traditional.
Everything else he can sing.
Musical. But it's also like everything sounds better in French, including songs. And then you realize when you're watching this with subtitles, I'm like, oh, he just called her a bitch. It sounded like the most beautiful thing in French, but he's saying awful things. And this person's saying awful things back, but they're all singing it. It's it's a really strange musical, but I think it works. I still think it works. I'm going to find out today how much I still think it works, because I haven't watched it all the way through for a while. Because I even learned to sing the songs of this movie, even though I don't speak French. I learned how to pronounce all the words, and I play the CD and sing along to it all the time. Craziness. But that's how deep my love for Louis Garrel goes.
So, love songs, or les chansons d'amour.
Les chansons d'amour.
Les chansons d'amour came out in 2007. Ismail and Julie enter a playful yet emotionally laced threesome with Alice. When tragedy strikes, these young Parisians are forced to deal with the fragility of life and love. And it is a musical directed by Christophe Honoré,
whom Louis Garrel has made several films with. Some very challenging, some very crowd-pleasing, like this one. But they've been frequent collaborators, and so I think this may have been their most financially successful collaboration. I think because a lot of French audiences were kind of like me. It was like, I must have this music, I must have this film all the time, and I still do.
Well, I'm really looking forward to watching this movie. It is available on Hulu.
Yay,
Take
no
that
rentals.
Hulu.
It's just there. I think remember when we were trying to plan this month, um, uh, I was like, you know what? I'm like, let me just look it up and see what's available from him. And then I saw that this movie was just available on Hulu. I'm like, it's a sign. He's our man. He's our man for sure. I was so excited. And now I'm gonna like spend like the next month like revisiting all of my favorite films of his. Uh, he's taken on some really interesting roles, I will say, for Christophe Lenoir. Like the film Ma Mère, My Mother, which is based on a famous novel by Georges Bataille, who it's not a pleasant story. So you can see a lot of him, but it's not a pleasant story. But I watched it for him, and I will watch any movie that he's in, except for maybe those two that we mentioned earlier by those specific directors, because I don't watch movies by those people right now. After the Dead, another story. But this movie, you do not have any problems, because I think all the people who made this are amazing, and they are still amazing. And I love the music. I love the style. It's not like old Hollywood musical style music. It's sort of like slightly more like pop rock style, but it doesn't. It's not like over the top, like hardcore, like, oh, now we're pretending we're in a big rock number. I don't think it does stuff like that. It's really just sort of like, we're having a conversation, but our argument is a song. Like we're all going to have sex together, but it's a song,
Yes, we did enjoy him in Little Women. I enjoyed.
Oh, yes.
Little Women.
I remember when I was watching it, I was like, like when he popped up on screen, like, he's in this movie. Why didn't you tell me? Amy had no idea like that I was in love with this man. So
like,
if she had known that, she'd have been like, Samir. She probably would have gotten me to watch that like months earlier, because I just been holding off, and then it came to be that it was the perfect time during the holidays to watch it, and it's the kind of thing you love to sit in front of a fire and watch it, and all of a sudden Louis Garrel is there, and I was very excited. And so then, finally, that's coming to fruition with this choice from English.
Well, again, this movie is available on Hulu. Please watch it tomorrow for our final Director Tuesday before our Oscar month. We will be talking about Hong Kong director Kar-wai Wong, and that's going to be a Criterion Collection film. Actually, I think the movie's also
Wong Kar-wai, but is it supposed to be Kar-wai Wong?
It's one of those things. It kind of depends on where you are. You could say Wong Kar-wai. It's like some people say Gong Li, some people say Li Gong.
Li Gong.
Yeah, like Li is technically her first name, but
or Li is the individual name, what we call the Christian name here.
Yes.
The family name is the first name. The individual name is the second name in that format. So I can never tell, because sometimes it would be like the way the name was told to us is in the correct way. And so we assume that because all the other names are done wrong for us, that like we have to switch them to say them right. So sometimes, so I don't know if he was one of those or not, but I've always known him as Wong Kar-wai, and we're gonna watch a real beautiful movie tomorrow too. Just can't get enough of love.
No, we're finishing off with some romance. But please watch Love Songs, available on Hulu. Please check out our Patreon. Oh my goodness, I need a nap. I've been up for a while. I've been doing stuff though. Today has seemed like a very long day because I've actually been productive in doing things. Please check out our Patreon. Link is in the comments. Check out our merchandising. I got another Book Club for Movies mug. I got it in black this time because the white wasn't showing up on camera. That's the only reason why I got it.
I'm getting some stuff coming too. I'll wear it when I've received it.
Yeah, our merchandise is on Redbubble. Search for Book Club for Movies or my name. Also, I have my stuff on here, like my shirt, my t-shirt that I'm wearing. Super comfy. All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments, and hope everyone enjoys Love Songs and falling in love with